Could you have imagined 1 year ago that state governments in this nation could forcibly quarantine perfectly healthy people and force small businesses to close? You might ask, how did this happen? What happened is the government preyed on our fears. The greatest weapon in the hands of the state is the state of emergency. In a state of emergency, people are much more willing to be controlled. The problem is, once we surrender any of our liberties, it's impossible to get them back without a fight. We went from, we need to slow the curve, to draconian rules, and the curve has slowed significantly. So why do these rules and restrictions still continue? Schools remain closed due to a virus that all CDC data suggests does not impact children. The death rate for people under 20 years old is 0.0. Those of us who lost loved ones during the lockdown were not even allowed to gather and mourn at funerals. These rules always apply to us, but the state can and will decide when the rules don't apply. Funerals that government leaders find important are approved.
There are those in power who are doing their darndest to discourage people from voting by closing polling locations and targeting minorities and students with restrictive ID laws and attacking our voting rights with surgical precision.
The same unfair rules apply to protests. Social justice protests are encouraged and permitted, while protests for civil liberties are discouraged and forbidden. And in this strange new time, criminals are being sanctified, while police officers are being vilified. Left-leaning politicians are calling to defund the police.
I will never stop saying, not only do we need to disinvest in police, but we need to completely dismantle the Minneapolis Police Department.
They're not going to stop. And everyone beware, because they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day. And that should be, everyone should take note of that on both levels, that they're not going to let up, and they should not. And
Vice presidential candidate Kamala Harris took her support for rioters to another level by brazenly promoting a fund that bailed out violent rioters, including a twice convicted rapist. All while law-abiding citizens are arrested for daring to defend themselves or their property. Yet, we continue to stay silent as we give more and more control of our lives to the government. A government that we, the people, employ. Today's Democrat Party is unrecognizable from the party of FDR and JFK. The Democrats are now a party that are being led by those that seek to destroy all that they cannot control. But they will never destroy the American spirit. Today's Democrats would like to remove God and replace it with more government. They've removed the Judeo-Christian values from their own party and replaced them with nihilism. The result is a new breed of Democrat. And if you love this nation, you must know that we are in a fight. Only we, the people, together can win this fight. Our founding fathers knew how precious freedom was, and history has shown us that freedom is never free. It must continuously be fought for. As power-hungry governors and mayors continue to violate our rights and try to control more and more aspects of our lives, we the people have a very important choice to make. Will we choose tyranny, or will we choose liberty? Will we forfeit the precious gifts of freedom to governments that we employ? Or will we stand together as one nation under God and demand that we the people will always Be free.